All right, thank you for a special edition of COVID-19. I'm so glad to be your host, Bishop Kenneth L. Pearman. And today we've had a lot of technical issues, but thank God we've made it through. I want to say to you that have lost loved ones during this time of the COVID-19 due to that, I call it the terrible, terrible virus that sneaks up on people. I pray for you that God will keep you and move through you and calm your heart as only He can. But also, I want to
Mm.
say to those who have recovered, we celebrate you that you were able to recover from this virus. And we're grateful that you have. To Monroe County, who we work so hard in this county to get out information concerning the virus, to make life better for us. I thank all of those who are first responders, the heroes on the front line, those in the supermarkets, those that drive the trucks and deliver the mail, those that have to go out to work. We thank you for all that you give in your service. And we continue to pray that God keeps you, that when you get back to your families, you go back whole. And so we don't want you to know, we want you to know we don't forget you at all. It's a special edition because we want to keep everyone updated on what's going on in our community. We try to bring you the best of information from the best of people that know and have the heartbeat of their community. Today, I'm just happy to say I have Ms. Cleo Jarvis, president of the African American Black American Network. And I'm so glad that she's joining us today. And she will be able to tell you more about what she does with the network, tell you more about what they're doing in the community. But I want to ask you first, Ms. Cleo, how has this virus affected you, your community, directly or collectively with someone else?
Well, thank you so much, first of all, to all the people in the community who are watching. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this time with you. Thank you, Bishop Pearman, for reaching out. And thank you so much for considering me. I'm so happy and flattered. As far as the COVID virus and how it has impacted me and the African American Network and the other organizations that I belong to, we just have had to make some adjustments. You had to be patient, um, trying to reach out to people who might need help, might need groceries, might need gloves, masks, etc. Especially friends of mine who are nurses, made try to make sure that they have what they need to be of help to us because, quite frankly, they're on the front line, as Bishop Pearman said, and if they fall, we don't have anyone with the expertise to help us. So we have to make sure that they're okay. So that's where, and talking to people are boosting their immune system, of following the directions of protection. A lot of folks I see don't want to listen. They think that, oh, I am 20, so it's not going to impact me. And no matter how folks are telling them that, okay, it might not impact you directly or as severely, they've misunderstood what was said. It said it won't impact you as severely. You have a better chance of surviving it, but that doesn't mean you won't get it. So, and trying to talk to the young people and encouraging them to wear their masks and their gloves and to just take the precautions and wash your hands, wash your face, wash your hair, or cover your hair when you go out. Because I started, right now I'm home, so my hair is out, but when I go out, I wrap my hair, put my African head wrap on so that I don't pick up anything in my hair. And then, coming into the home, it's a chore going to shop because when I get home, when you get home, you have to unpack everything outside and then disinfect everything before you bring it into the door. And remember to take your shoes off at the door, which I don't have a problem with because culturally we don't wear shoes in the house. So we leave the shoes outside the door. So I didn't have to make that adjustment. And then washing your clothes as soon as you come in the house. And then it's a whole thing. So that adjustment was deep for quite a few people. Some of it I already did, so it wasn't so difficult for me. But if you bought quite a few pieces of groceries, it can be time consuming and taxing. But other than that, um, so far, most of the people who I know have recovered if they were infected or they were not infected. So I give thanks and praise for that. On the other hand, I know several people whose loved ones have passed, etc. So my heart goes out to them, and just we just keep praying that folks will listen and practice social distancing and make so that we can be over faster.
Yes.
That's basically what I have to say about that. And keep your immune system strong. Get that vitamin C in, get that D. Drink your lemon and water first thing in the morning, especially to clear your palate before you ingest food. Drink warm drinks all day long. I drink. They have herbal blends in the natural food store, and even in Walmart, you can get that stuff. You don't have to go anywhere special anymore because local stores. But the difference is how if the efficacy of the herbs are impacted by the processing. So if you don't get your herbs that's why some people say herbs don't work, because you're getting weak herbs, because the way they handle them, it weakens them. And if they store them in light, and the bottles should be glass and brown, if they're not stored in brown glass bottles, chances are they're weak. And so you don't get the same impact in your body as you would with a better processed herb. And how they, just basically you have to be very careful what brand you use, and the not only the efficacy, the potency, but that it's not sprayed, or it's organic, etc. All of that. So there's certain brands that I have used over the years that I stick to, because I know that they are very strict with how they process things. Just to talk to people about eating more fresh food, but it's difficult now, I know, but when you buy your fresh food, you take the vinegar or lemon and water and make sure you wash them before you ingest them. To just for your own natural health. You don't have to use chemicals.
Do you
Okay.
find that most people are not listening to you in reference to strengthening their immune system? Because that's one of the
No.
things that would make a difference in dealing with this virus.
Yes, sir. And and that's ongoing. That's not just for this virus. That's ongoing. The reason people get colds and flus all the time, because your immune system is weak, and as you get them over and over again, it impacts your immune system. So if you have to, and some people think they can just take some lemons this morning and the immune system is fine. It's an ongoing process. You have to keep that up. You can't just do it for 2 minutes and stop. You have to keep that up. And your immune system is how your body protects itself. Okay. So if you don't take care of that part of it, I mean, some people put better gas in their car than the food they eat and they put in their body. Your food is your fuel. Your food is your medicine. And you can't put junk in your body and expect it to work properly when you need it to. And that's a fact. So, the same way you put that nice oil in the car and flush the engines and all of that, you have to cleanse your body. You have to drink water, not soda, not juice, but water. You have to drink water to flush your system. Juice is fine, but if you don't get that bullet and make your own juice, you don't know what you're getting.
That's true.
So it's a matter of it doesn't take long either.
Right.
It doesn't take long. I take the juicer and I squeeze my orange. I squeeze orange, lemon, and grapefruit together, put it in a big mason jar, put it in the fridge, and then I drink it. Okay. It's not as good as just juicing it and drinking it, but it's still better than buying something that I don't know who those people are and what they did with it. Okay. So, and that's a great immune booster. The orange, the grapefruit, and the lemon together, that's a great immune booster as well. So, you do multiple things so that you can make sure that you're okay. And the babies, they can't take all those drugs. So you need to really be on top of their immune system. Essential oils help, peppermint oil, peppermint tea, all these herbs that we have, and you can look that stuff up online now. It's it's so interesting how all the information is so open now, and folks still don't do it. Naturopathy, herbology, all of that is right online, and you can get the information. It's just that sometimes you need somebody to guide you who has the knowledge, um, and a lot of people don't take the time to get that, and then they say it doesn't work. The other thing about natural stuff, that they don't work like drugs. They don't mask your symptoms like drugs, and you feel good right immediately. What they do is they take all that stuff out of your body. They take the toxins out of your body. They're going to work on all the stuff that's wrong in your body. And sometimes you feel worse at the beginning than you do later, right? Because your body is trying to move that stuff out. Right. But so if you don't understand the biology, you won't understand that.
That's true.
So, but right now, immune system cleansing and immune system is the key. Okay. Boosting is the key right now.
And so now,
and of course, washing your hands and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Washing your hands. So one of the things I want to ask you about is when we're dealing with this COVID-19, and we've seen a lot of things that's been going on, and in our communities, in the Poconos, we don't really consider we have a place that all the African community lives, where we're spread out. But have you found that it is an effect in our community, wherever we're spread out to? Do you find that this COVID-19 has affected us more than the other people around us?
Not really, because we have technology, thank goodness. Yes. So people are able to reach out to each other. We have had our meetings online like everybody else. We have kept in touch, and folks will text each other and say, how are you? I know I get texts regularly. How are you doing today? How are you feeling? So we're impacted the same to me. As far from my perspective, there could be some other people who are having a different experience, but I'm not aware of it. So folks, people have Facebook, people have Zoom, people have Twitter, all kinds of things. And so and then the cyber schools, the children are going to school online. So it's the community, is together. I know the poor babies. I feel for the babies. Those are the people I really feel for, the babies, because they're used to going outside and running and ripping and playing. In some places, they're not able to do that. But as far as African American people are concerned, I don't feel that we're any worse off than anybody else in this area. Okay. I think that most people have adjusted well. As far as the folks who owned homes here, or who knew people who owned homes here and left New York to come here, they might have a bit of adjustment to do. But other than that, the people who lived here, well, okay, they it's hard because but most of us have yards to go into, right?
Yes.
So that makes a difference.
Yes, it
for
does.
Us. Yeah, unlike somebody who lives in an apartment building and they don't have anywhere to go.
Yes, because it means that more people are on top of each other, and that's how the virus is spread so rapidly.
Right.
But what I do want to ask is, as the president of the African American Network, and you are going to help your community, what is it that you feel that we could do more of that will help this community in this needed time that we have right now?
Well, I think that we need to, if you know that there's an elderly person living next to you or close by, or even if they're not close, but you know of them and they live alone, check on them. Okay. If you know of a single mom with a bunch of children, check on them. If you know that there are some people, male or female, who might be in a situation where they might be abused, because I was really concerned about the folks who might be hit or damaged in some way, being locked up with their abuser, being shut down with their abuser, and I'm like, oh. So, but just reaching out to people, I think, if you have 3 rolls of toilet paper and your family only needs 2, and your neighbor doesn't have any, just share. We have to take care of each other as best we can in this time. There's a group of people. I'm the president elect as well as the Rotary Club, Stroudsburg Rotary Club, and that group, they got together. A bunch of them got together and made masks, and made like hundreds of masks and gave them to people. Or they went to the food pantries and helped out, bag things and dropped them off to people. So, you could do that. If you have extra groceries when you go to the store, somebody might be hungry or might not be able to get out, get some extra groceries for them. It's not that much. You don't have to get a whole big thing, but get them a couple of things. If you cook, make something extra and drop it off. We just have to just take care of each other. But don't forget your mask and gloves when you're doing that. Because some people think they're invincible for some reason. I don't know why. Bishop, I have no clue why. I'm not one of them.
Nor am I. I believe in the mask.
Yes,
I believe in the gloves. I believe that when you go out, be ready. Don't play with
yes,
this
sir.
thing. One of the things I must commend Monroe County on, and the people of Monroe County, is that
Yes,
we have been very giving and supportive of one another.
yes,
There's
yes,
always someone having a food pantry going, someone
yes.
else that's driving by to deliver food to somebody else. So we have been
Mm-hmm.
blessed beyond measure in that field. My concern is the what's happening with our when we try to get those loans from the bank, that a lot of people are
Mm,
not getting it. Uh,
yeah,
Not
yeah.
knowing
And
if some people can
the
go back
stimulus.
to, yes, the stimulus. Um, those are the
Mm-hmm.
things that are bothering me, and I feel that, and they're about to tell us that we may be able to reopen our state, and how dangerous that could be. I know that there are businesses that are suffering. I know there are little businesses that are
Yes.
suffering, and they need to
Mm-hmm.
have people to come in and bring people back to work. And yet, it's a trying time. If you bring them out too soon, there's a double
Mm-hmm.
damage done if it comes back
Exactly.
again. How do you feel about that?
Exactly. I think that we have to be very careful not to move too quickly and incrementally do things. Because if you just open up the borders and any and everybody can come and go, you have no way of controlling anything. You have no way of assessing, and then the damage is done. So I think the incremental piece would be very, very helpful. So the restaurants have been not open for you to sit and eat, but you can still eat restaurant food because you can call an order and pick up. And people have been practicing social distancing on the line. I've seen where people have practiced social distancing and gone and got their manicures and pedicures. They did. I found that interesting. Um, but they did, but they lined up outside. They didn't go inside. They were let in one at a time. So
Was that
my
here in
natural
the
food.
Poconos?
And yes,
Wow.
my natural food store only let 6 people in at a time. You have to line up outside, and they have things on the floor to guide you. And the supermarket, the same thing. You can't get next to the cash register until it's your turn. You have to step back, and they have things on the floor to help you keep your distance. So people have been doing things, but I agree with you that if they move too quickly without having enough information about what actually is going on, and they open up too quickly, we can have a bigger problem later on to have to deal with. I saw a piece, I shared it on Kwanzaa Mama's page, Facebook page, about Bush. I don't remember which one it is, one of the Bushes, um, warning about this very thing. It was uncanny to listen to him and the recommendations that were given to him by the team that he was dealing with, and and I'm like, why didn't they listen? Why weren't they ready? This is 20 years ago, and they weren't ready. I'm like, I don't get it. But as far as being citizens and denizens and neighbors and loved ones, we can help each other. And that's what we need to do. We need to make sure and remind people and listen, put your gloves on, put your masks on. Okay. If they don't have gloves, if they have masks, they can wear a bandana on their face. But a mask is not hard to make. So, just any fabric. You can use old clothes to make your mask. Just double the fabric and, make your mask. You don't even need a sewing machine. You can use glue. Just cover yourself, please. I just don't want to. My heart is hurting at times, but I understand the energy, so I just release the energy, and know that the universe and the creator are guiding, and if those who will listen will be okay. We definitely, as you say, Bishop, I'm so used to you being pastor. I'm so sorry, Bishop. We in the countryside, us country people, we have more of a paradigm of neighborliness,
Yes.
and taking care of each other. That's just a part of how the culture is here. So it's a little different than in places where people are really, really isolated and really afraid to come out and afraid. So, like I said, if we just look out and check on people and take care of yourself and make sure you teach your babies how to wash their hands. Because, practice makes perfect. You have to, as an educator, that's the first thing I did every school year. When I got a new group of children, one of the first things I did was teach them how to wash their hands properly. And people they couldn't understand why, because touching, you pass bacteria from one person to the next. And touching the doorknob, sneezing in your hand, I taught them how to do the hug and sneeze piece. I taught them that because you have to, and we're locked up in the classroom together, 27 of us, 28 of us. And so we had to do some things to make sure that we were hygienically safe. And so while the babies, teach them how to wash their hands properly. Make sure they wash the back. Go to fingers. I don't know if y'all can see this, but go to the fingers and wash the back. Go through the fingers, and then rinse, and then use paper towel to turn off the faucet, and use that same paper towel to turn the knob. Teach them that from young, and that will help a lot.
Now, as an African American Network president and a organization, what are you all doing to encourage people to not fill out the census report?
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
As your African American Network, what are you all doing to encourage the people to make sure they fill out their census?
Okay, so we're just reaching out to the folks that are in our area and letting them know that the census forms are online and out. There are a bunch of different organizations doing that as well.
Yes.
I know I have gotten notices from several different groups in my phone and reminding to take the census out. Some folks do it and some folks don't. But all you could do is provide information, and hopefully people will see the need in the importance of doing that, because folks don't understand what the census does. A lot of people, especially in the inner cities, don't understand that if you have only 10 people in your area counted in the census, that means that the people over there with 50 people will get more resources than you filtered into their community, because they figure it's less of you. But in reality, you have 100 people. So now you have less resources for more people.
So it is very important for us to really do it.
Yes, because if they don't, if they count wrong, then the resources get cut.
Okay. So while she was saying that, I want to encourage you that if you have not filled out your census report, please go online and do so. Make sure you do it every time you fill it. When you fill it out and put the count of people in your house who's there, it makes the difference on how much money will be given to your region. And let's make
Mm-hmm.
sure we don't miss one dime that should come to us, and we're here in Monroe County. So I want to encourage you to
And
make
not
sure you do that. Yes, ma'am.
not only money, but building hospitals, schools. They determine, okay, well, they only have 50 people over there, so they don't need another school. Oh, let's put it over there. And they don't need they don't need any more hospitals. They don't need any more police. All of that is determined by the count and how many people are in your area.
Yes. And what do you have to say about voting? People getting registered to vote.
Well, voting is important, and I was thinking, you said that, and um, voting is important, and advocacy is important. So, certain groups of people, they vote in groups and blocks, and they have leadership that will go and speak on their behalf and say, okay, um, what are you going to do for my community if we vote for you? We have 10,000 people who will vote for you if you'll do right by our community. What are you going to do for our community? And they go to each one of them, and then they decide who to vote for. I don't know that that hasn't happened since like the 60s or 70s with the African American community. Um, we don't do that anymore. We just vote. And sometimes I have been places where folks don't even know who to vote for. So we're looking at that and looking at how maybe all the African American organizations could streamline that better so that folks can get to know who the candidates are. And sometimes you go to the polls and you see up here and you see people are running unopposed or nobody's running for a particular position at all.
Yes.
So that position is not being filled officially, but it's being filled by somebody.
Yes.
And you don't even know who that is because nobody voted for that person, right? They appointed. So all of that you have to take into account. But voting, our ancestors, I vote. Yeah, listen, let me just be real. There are times I don't feel like getting up and going to the poll. Okay. What pushes me out to that poll is people who died so I can have the right to vote.
Yes.
People who got bitten by dogs, whipped, hosed, thrown across the street by water hoses. So protesting unfair acts so that we can get to vote. And that's what pushes me out. Okay. On top of that, when I did my second master's, one of the things that they taught us in one of my classes was about the importance of voting for not the president so much,
Mm-hmm.
but your lawmakers.
Yes.
Okay. Those are the important people to vote for because they're going to be the ones making decisions and laws that's going to impact you for years to come. Right. And if you don't pay attention and the wrong people get into that position, then you're just going to have to live with it because it's too late after the vote is done. It's too late. And we don't have those coffee clutches like we used to have back in the 70s, 80s, even early 90s. We had coffee clutches. You had meetings where people discuss what's on the ballot beside the name of the candidate. Other than the name of the candidate, what laws are coming up for vote? And how will that impact our community? People are not paying attention to those things, and laws are getting slipped by us that are not in our best interest.
That's true.
So, and it doesn't take long to Google. The same way you're Googling other stuff, take a minute to Google some of that. Google to shop, right? People Google to buy the Gucci bag, so take a minute and Google, what laws are coming up in Monroe County, what laws are coming up in Pike County, and find out what those laws say. even if you go and even if you take a minute and talk to all the legislators have Facebook pages, all kinds of ways to connect with them and speak with them. Do that. That's how Juneteenth became a law.
Yes.
One lady. It only took one lady going to her legislator and said, I want this to be a law in Pennsylvania.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, Juneteenth is now actually a legal holiday in Pennsylvania, in the state of Pennsylvania. It was signed into law last year, June, on the 19th of June, in Harrisburg. And as Kwanzaa Mama, I was one of five of us? I think it's 5 speakers at that ceremony with the signing. And thank Rosemary Brown, Representative Rosemary Brown invited me to speak. And I stayed connected with a few of the people who were instrumental in having that done. But she got this woman, and unfortunately, she passed a few months before I got signed into law. She didn't get to see it done, but her spirit was all over that place. Okay. She pushed for years, and then she got one legislator to sponsor it and push for it. And then that legislator got other legislators to co-sponsor and push for it. And it was unanimously voted on by both parties, Republicans and Democrats. Everybody, every last legislator signed off on it. And so Juneteenth isn't a holiday. Juneteenth is a holiday. So the Juneteenth Freedom Festival that we usually have in town, we decided as a group, the African American Network, we decided as a group that we would do that virtually. So it will be in a format something like this. So you're going to watch the people sing or watch the people play their instrument. I have my friend who usually everybody loves, who does the big giant puppets. He's going to do that online. So, and different people, different artists and speakers and poets, Eskimo Snow, who everybody loves. He's going to do some poetry, and some other young people are going to sing, etc. So we're going to have our Juneteenth. We just won't have vendors online, but we're thinking about finding a way to see if we could get people to see the vendors and drive them to their sites, okay, so that people can go to the vendors they like and let's showcase the vendors, and then we could get to support the vendors online. So that's what we're talking about now.
Okay.
So our Juneteenth Freedom Festival is usually the teen weekend. Every year we have it as the teen weekend in June, because Juneteenth is about nobody knows the exact teen date that it happened. So usually it's celebrated on the 19th, the last teen, but we celebrate it on the weekend because people work, and the 19th is usually on a weekday. And so we celebrate it on the Saturday before, and then we do a tribute to the men. We prop our men on that weekend because that's Father's Day weekend, usually. So we do this nice ceremony for the men too. So. And
what does Juneteenth represent? So somebody doesn't know.
Sorry. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop. So that's it's also called Emancipation Day. And that's when the enslavement of African people, of kidnapped African people, was officially ended. Yes. And it was signed into law that they were free. However, in certain parts of the country, they didn't want to let their folks go. So they didn't tell them. And they didn't find out until quite a while later that they were free. So they found out in the teens somewhere in June. So therefore, and it was a big celebration. So therefore it's called Juneteenth. Yes. For that reason, because nobody knows the specific teen date, but it's in Juneteenth. Well, is that a good enough explanation?
That was good.
Okay.
Well, Ms. Cleo, my time is just about up. And one of the things I want to do is thank you for joining us today. Sorry for all of our technical difficulties. But however,
okay.
if someone wants to get in contact and want to join the African American Network,
Hmm.
how would they do that? How would they be in contact with you?
Okay, so there's a website. It's called the original AAN.org. TheOriginalAAN.org. And on that site, there's a drop down box where you could join. You could also read stuff. We're gonna revamp the site in a minute, but we're gonna leave that old site up while we revamp in the back. Also, you can contact Kwanzaa Mama, KWAN as in Nancy, ZAAMAMA, um, on Facebook. Also, KwanzaaMama.com is the website. So you can contact Kwanzaa Mama. We're also refurbishing that website behind the scenes now. Um, and just connect. KwanzaaMama@gmail.com. Info at the original AAN.org. So it's AAN.org. Okay, so one is the organization, KwanzaaMama.com.
Well, it's been a joy having you on with me today, and thank you. And I look forward to being able to view this Juneteenth in June as you
Yes, sir.
do it through social media. And to all of you
Yes,
that
sir.
have joined us, I thank you. We want you to be safe. We know that Monroe County is a praying county. Pennsylvania is a praying state, but we also are a powerful voting state. Your vote does count. So don't forget to register, get yourself signed up, because if you have to do mail-in, you want to get yourself ready for that. And you want to be ready to put your vote in, not only just for the president, but for those that change the laws, your state senators and representatives. Okay? Have a good day, a blessed day on purpose until we come together again. Have a good night.